I love people that go 100% one direction and then they
Mhm.
go 100% the other. I'm very similar. I'm very similar in this. I have a strong belief that when you go like really hard into one direction, you learn everything about it, and then you fully go back the other way. You have more knowledge on certain subjects than certain people. You lived it. You really experienced it, and that it's just like when there's a trans or a gay person who comes out today and they're like, yo, I don't like the stuff being in schools. I don't like this
Yeah.
being around kids still. It's like it's one of those things that we need to hear more often. It doesn't happen enough. And when it does happen, there's not enough women that stand up and they're like, yo, guys, I was fooled. Like, and I went this way and I'm way happier. Like, there's not enough people that do what you do. So huge props to you, huge respect to you. It takes such this is horrible to say, but balls to do that, I guess. I guess that was a little trans to say. I don't know. But yeah, thank you so much for everything that you do. Just standing for what you do. I really appreciate your work on YouTube. It's very rare, and everybody needs to appreciate it.
Thank you. I mean, I wanted to share honestly and transparently about my journey from feminism to being a more traditional woman. I wouldn't say I'm quote unquote trad con the way that social media and how it's portrayed out there. I'm just a stay-at-home mom. I do content creation and I'm a wife. So like I do traditional things, but I live in the modern day, right? I'm not going to go churn butter. I might eventually, but right now I'm not doing that. But yeah, I had a very unique journey where I guess it's not unique, like, because a lot of people are leaving feminism, but I was a very hardcore feminist who found the light, took personal accountability and responsibility for my actions, and decided that I didn't want to be angry, mad, and hate men for the rest of my life. So I decided to make a change, and I hope to inspire more women if they are stuck in that rut of, I want a relationship, I want marriage, I want children eventually. Maybe I need to start reevaluating myself and what I'm portraying out there for the world to see, and also what I'm saying, who I'm surrounding myself with, right? So that I can eventually get what I want and desire, which is, having a family and whatnot. So that's what I hope to do. I hope to inspire and change some women out there who are looking to do that. If you are perfectly happy in your feminist mindset, keep going, sis. If you want to chase the bag and all that other stuff, go do that. I don't care. Live your life, but just don't complain about it later.
Yeah. So like when it comes to like that divide, how many women do you think or how like do you think that there's a lot of women that are just coping with themselves when it comes to the working and stuff? Like do you think that most women, a majority, more than 51% would like to have the family and kids and stuff like that and they're just kind of coping when they say they don't?
I think that this is interesting because
Because you used to
so
be one of those women.
yes. So I think that we put a huge emphasis as a society on chasing a career, chasing that education, and being a wife, a mom is more of like, oh, that's okay. Like, that's all right. That's not something that I strive for as like, I want to be this. Like, when I grow up, I want to be this, right? No one says that. Everyone says, "Oh, I wanna be a lawyer, I wanna be a
Astronaut.
politician, I wanna be an astronaut," right? No one says, "I wanna grow up and be a stay-at-home mom like my mom," right? So, I think that more women are coping, like, are choosing that lifestyle and career path, but it's also because of what we've been fed through the media. Like, I grew up I'm 34 years old, so I grew up in front of the television. I'm a '90s kid, like, So I like I grew up ingesting and taking on all of those ideas, right? So I don't necessarily blame women for this thing. They just don't know that that they're stuck here, right? I think that a lot of women have to wake up to the reality that no one's going to save you. There's no Prince Charming, rom-coms don't, like, these things don't happen. Like, if you don't put the same energy and time and effort into bettering yourself to eventually, be feminine enough to attract a husband and, you know, prepared to not prepared per se to like have kids, but you're not like equipping yourself with those tools, then of course you're going to end up at 34 thinking that, oh, I'm chasing this career and I thought that my husband was going to be around the corner, but all that's there is the Amazon guy who literally is throwing your packages at you. So
Yeah.
I think a lot of women are coping. I think they're realizing it later on in life, and it's really sad, actually. And that's why I make content on my channel, because I want to talk to younger women so that they don't make the same mistakes that older women have made and have to maneuver and move quickly and almost under pressure. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So yeah,
Yeah.
I think a lot of women are coping. I don't know the percentage per se, but I think a lot of women are coping, but I just don't think that they understand what's really going on.
They're, like, literally so brainwashed in the matrix, as they would say, that, like, they don't even realize it, yeah,
Yeah.
that they're actually coping, so, like, most of my panels, like, on Fridays and stuff, we have panels of ladies, and one of the big things I do is I really try to red pill these women, and I know this is something that in the red pill space is actually very hated on. A lot of people don't like that. I try to It's very gate kept sometimes to try to teach these women these things, and it's just like, but it's my biggest goal. And since you're somebody that does this, what advice can you give me? What's some of your facts? Like, there's certain facts that I say sometimes that when I look into these girls' eyes, I feel like it changes them more than the other facts I say or something. Like, they're more red pill statements that they're like, okay, I should probably start doing this instead, or start doing this instead, or think about this. What do you think are some of your biggest red pill statements that you say to some women that really impact them? Like you would say your most impactful facts that changed their life possibly?
One of the biggest facts, or one of the biggest, I wouldn't actually call it a red pill fact or anything like that, but it's the fact that your fertility, your eggs literally drop. I think the viability is like less than 23%, if I'm not mistaken. I will link it somewhere in the notes later.
Mhm.
Um at like in your late 30s, and then when you're 40, your viability chances for like producing a child is less than 10%.
Oh my god. Yeah.
And I think that the narrative is push fertility, push getting married and having children as late as possible. And when I share these numbers, when I share these stats, and I'm putting a video of a doctor explaining a woman's fertility and how her egg, like, you don't create more eggs over time. You're constantly literally shedding eggs every time you
Running
have a
out.
cycle, right? So you're not getting any younger. Your egg supply is literally becoming powder dust. And so I when I shared that fact about fertility, and I did one about surrogacy and IVF, which really opened a lot of women's eyes as well. Like, IVF is incredibly expensive,
Yep.
and it's almost like a coin toss for the like to actually conceive a child on your first try of IVF. It's a lot of hormones, it's a lot of stress and pain and all of that stuff.
Mhm.
And doing it alone and freezing your eggs and all that stuff costs a lot of money. And then a lot of women say, oh, I'll just hire a surrogate. Surrogacy costs anywhere from like 60 to $120,000, and that's not including lawyer fees and all this other stuff. Like, that's just the agency alone. So
Jesus.
it's really like when I talk about fertility, when I talk about these aspects about female anatomy and biology, a lot of women start to scratch their heads. And, and the fact that like birth rates are astronomically low, and us as like what the Western world in general, actually the entire world at this point, is in the like we're in a crazy time where like we're on the brink of extinction in the next couple of generations because people are just not reproducing, or they're just not having enough kids to meet the threshold, right?
Yep.
um I think the average, it's like less than 2 per household now, and that's what you need to have to keep up
To
with
sustain society.
with with our existence. And I know a lot of people are going to be like, "Oh, well, there's enough people on this planet." Okay, cool. That's perfectly fine right now, but to continue our society and to continue human civilization in general, we need people to have kids. And if it's not the woke ideology or like the whole leftist ideology of like just transing kids, now you have Serge, I said I'm not going to bring up any controversy, but you have Rollo Tomasi saying, "Hey men, like get a vasectomy at 20," and "Hey guys,
All that
don't."
tweet today, actually.
Yes,
I was mind blown by the vasectomy thing too. I was very mind
and
blown.
also don't have kids. So now the red pillars, the red pill community, the manosphere community is telling men, oh, don't have kids. Cool. You have feminists, don't trust men, don't have kids. Cool. You have the woke left saying, go get your testicles chopped off, your breasts chopped off, and
Mutilate yourself.
invert it, like mutilate yourself. Everyone on every side, it seems like, is saying, "Don't have kids, don't reproduce," and that's terrifying to me. So, I don't know, this sounds a little like that's that's how I that's how I
Doesn't
red
it
pill
sound
people.
like
I'm like,
doesn't
I
it
don't.
sound
Hey y'all, Sergio here. I just want to mention I've created a completely free guide that shows you exactly how I went from having low confidence and being painfully awkward around women to easily meeting and dating numerous high quality desirable women in real life without the use of any dating apps or social media. So if you're struggling to get out there, if you have approach anxiety or don't know what to say or how to interact with women to make them want you and are sick of using dating apps with low value girls that hundreds of other guys have been chatting with, click the link in the description below to grab your free guide right now. And if you want private mentorship with me personally to help guide you every step of the way in this process, check out my mentorship program in the description too. I would be happy to help you reach your dating goals and overcome any obstacle you may face. And trust me, if I can do it, you can do it too. I hope to see you soon. Peace out.